Hey there everyone, and welcome back to Speaking My Mind with me, your host, Spoken Minds. I didn't think we would return to this subject as I thought we were done with it. Draikinator kept being a jerk and blocking everyone left and right that had anything to do with us, and the quote-unquote victim and pedo all but vanished. Until literally a week ago, when no one other than Diana Draws showed up on my previous video and told me what a good job I had done describing her situation. Considering I had done the best I could with the information available, I was pretty proud of myself. But self-flattering aside, I was pretty glad that the person that was accused had finally come out of the woodwork. I immediately grabbed my chance to finally get her side of the story, and boy oh boy, the stuff that came out of that was just Before we dive into this, I'll just say beforehand that once again this video will be two-parted. First half addressing the extra information we got, and the second part, you better stay around for that one, because then we will take a fine-ass look at our Draikinator. To make it easy on you guys, I've put some timestamps in the description, so you can skip to the parts you like to hear first or are more interested in. Alright, here we go. First off, I want to thank Diana for coming forward with her information and part of the story. Considering all the harassment she got, she had to delete all her accounts and went basically into hiding for this past month. While that's an unfortunate turn of events as all the logs were deleted, we did get her side of the story, and that's more than we got in the first place. I would have included a small video here that she made, but apparently she felt a bit too uncomfortable sharing it, which I'm totally okay with. We still had a talk with her in a livestream a few days ago, and this will be linked in the description. Let's start with those pedophile accusations, which were just downright false, period, end of the line. Last video I already found out that the victim was 16 while Diana was 19. This is also false, as she is 18. She provided us with proof that she was born in 2001. Obviously I won't show that proof because that is legit private. She's also in her last year of high school and not college, like Draikinator and others were saying. Why did she have to lie about her age? I don't know, but I don't believe she did this out of malicious intent. I fully agree that is a subjective fact, so be it. Second thing I also already found out, she's Russian, and to firmly squash this down, first and foremost, Russia has a different culture. Russians go about saying things and expressing their feelings in a different way than ours. Why do I mention this? Well, because we finally found out some screenshots from the victim, Dear Young Andrew, or as he now calls himself, Chaotic Kado. Don't bother looking because he once again ran away with his tail between his legs. Maybe the name Andrew might ring a bell? Yeah, this is the same guy that made a call-out video on Button's video and was rallying everyone to go and report it. This guy went out of his way to tell us we shouldn't have meddled into this, that this was supposed to be private, when he was the one that brought these false accusations to light and made a video to leave the victim, aka him, alone. So yeah, we finally got our real proof and story, and I don't even know if I can call it actual real proof, because damn, you can make a jigsaw puzzle out of all these cropped up pieces. Full conversations are a mystery to this guy apparently. Most of it is what we already got previously even, and I already mentioned that was stupid evidence. To sum it up, Diana sent him a lot of hearts and roleplay kisses and suddenly saying I love you and wanting him to come over or wanting to send a care package to him. But in her culture in Russia, that's a normal thing to do among friends. She even said this, that her friends have no problem with her doing that. I've had Russian friends in the past who did the same kind of thing when they felt comfortable enough around me. I know that this is an anecdotal argument, but I think it's worth something at least that I've seen this happen more than once. Sure, we might find it weird and creepy as we say things like you're cute or you're adorable to people we truly care about and family. But for her, this was normal stuff. Not to mention that her English is quite broken, and in the livestream we had with her, she had some trouble making herself understandable at times. Even in those screenshots, you can see that she doesn't have a full hang on the English language. For example, this one where she apologizes for having sent an accidental sexual picture instead of a reference. I just wanted to show the muzzle and I sent the dakimakura. As in, I wanted to show you one thing, but I showed you the other. You know, when you have something on your clipboard and you accidentally send that? So there's a definite culture and language barrier right there, which should be taken into account. But Spoken, I hear you say, that's not an excuse. She should have stopped when she knew it was wrong. And she did. She did stop when told that her actions were making people uncomfortable. But that's the thing. Those things only were said after all these accusations came to light. In all those screenshots I've seen, not once did I see mention that the other person was uncomfortable. Only afterwards did they say they were scared of her when it became a thing to hunt her down. Communication, people. It's an essential thing of life. And I'm gonna be honest. If this would have been a Toon Critic situation, where the quote-unquote victim would have been 14 years old and the quote-unquote pedophile would have been at least 10 years older, then I would have agreed with you. I would have totally agreed that her actions would have been creepy and that she definitely should have been taken apart and have a stern talking to or even harsher actions taken. But this ain't a Toon Critic situation. This is about a 16-year-old Canadian, as in the age of consent in Canada is 16, so the guy was of age, my man. And an 18-year-old girl from Russia. 2 years difference. This is high school fodder where the older girl is flirting with the slightly younger guy. The stuff you see in those rom-coms or high school television shows or cartoons even. I can literally not see how someone can be scared of someone only 2 years older than them. Grow a fucking spine, people. And the thing is, in the last few days, there have been more screenshots that came to light about Diana not being who she says she is. But I'm not gonna address those because the main point was the fact that she was and still is being called a pedophile by, and these are their words, preying on minors and sending sexual pictures when all of that was just a big misunderstanding and miscommunication. I am gonna address these briefly at the end of the video though. This thing has been blown so much out of proportion that I can hardly see the molehill upon the mountain. It's downright ridiculous. Another piece of evidence, if I can even call it that was shown to us is that she made an incest shipping of 2 warrior cat characters which, as the ship suggests, are related to each other. Thing is, this is normal in normal cat life, believe it or not. Cats will mate with each other when they come from the same litter, and if there is no one around to mate with, beggars can be choosers. Nature is so beautiful. And it doesn't matter if warrior cats isn't like how normal cats act, blah blah blah. The characters are still meant to be cats and act like cats. Like it or not, natural laws still apply to this. Which is a beautiful segue to our second part, our dear Draikinator. Don't think I've forgotten about you, buddy old pal. Because Drake is someone who is also known to ship incest pairings, albeit pairings that are distantly incest. But let's just say that Diana doesn't tell people to die when they disagree with her shippings. Oh yes, Draikinator has been called out more than once on the fact that they can't take any sort of criticism, especially when it comes to their alternate universes they make in the warrior cat world. While I could go on about it, I don't think I'm as qualified to talk about the whole warrior cat stuff, so in the description there's a DeviantArt journal that shows the stuff Draikinator does when no one else is looking. Or when people are looking but are stupid sheep and don't call them out on it. But the moment I became aware of a certain piece of information, which I let Draikinator know on Twitter, they suddenly became a bit scared. I mean, suddenly they unblocked us and wanted to talk with us. They wanted to come to some sort of peace treaty. Gosh, what could this piece of information have been? It couldn't be that bad. Oh wait, it is. Apparently our dear Draikinator, our dear Nate, was friends with an actual pedophile. Someone who had drawn actual child porn, as they themselves had called it. These are their words. On May 18th, they published a Google Doc to address concerns. Link in the description. 6. The Angel Hawk Pumpkin Claw Situation. CSA Transphobia Warning. So I used to be pretty good friends with Angel Hawk / Pumpkin Claws, and then found out like months and months back that a few years ago Hawk had been drawing a lot of porn commissions to pay for college, and they talked about this every once in a while and had mentioned how it was the only reason they managed to graduate and the only way they managed to pay for food and stuff, and sometimes mentioned how cringy and embarrassing they found all their weird old porn commissions now, but I didn't really look at them. Then Hawk mentioned that there were rumors going around about their fur affinity, and they really didn't want people who knew them now finding it, and I said they should just delete their fur affinity, and they were like, do you think that's okay? Even though they were commissions. And me and everyone in the group chat were like, yeah, I'm sure the commissioner has saved them by now if they wanted to, and like, you don't owe it to them to keep it up if you think it's bad or making you uncomfortable now. And they were like, yeah, okay. So they took their fur affinity down. And then later it came out like one of the commissions on there was an aged up picture of Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion, I think, a 15-year-old anime character, and it was also like futa porn, which is really trans-misogynistic. Hawk was super upset that people had found this and told us how shameful they felt about having created in the first place, how it was definitely pornographic material of a child character, and they didn't know why they had thought that was okay at the time they drew it, a few years prior as a 19-year-old, and also like Hawk had come out as trans since then themselves. From my perspective, Hawk wasn't a dangerous person. Don't get me wrong, that picture was disgusting and wrong, but nothing in me believed or believes that Hawk would ever do it again. And that the Hawk I knew had grown unrecognizable from the Hawk a few years prior, who had been so wrapped up in a culture of being paid for sexual content that I see so many young adult artists get caught in, desperate for money and survival, and I don't like canceling people. I want to believe people can change and learn where they've gone wrong and do better. I never publicly defended Hawk. I generally don't blame people who are uncomfortable with engaging with their content after learning this. I really don't. But at the time I felt I knew Hawk well enough that I knew that I didn't need to be afraid of them doing this again, of making this sort of content again. Because they hated this content made by them and by other people, vocally. The screenshots being spread were me messaging one person who was running a call-out Twitter for Hawk, and at the time, I don't know, I guess now I was being stupid and idealistic, but my friend was sobbing and didn't know what to say to people. And I felt like if I could just talk to them and explain it, they would understand too that Hawk wasn't dangerous anymore and that they didn't need to be afraid of them. I just felt like if they could speak to me and then they would feel better, feel less afraid, and maybe then could talk to Hawk and everything could be okay. I spoke to another person when Hawk pulled some shit. I had screen capping a dumb Tumblr post and memeing about it on Twitter. And it turned out to be some kid who got so much backlash they basically left the fandom, and I messaged a friend of theirs to act like neutral to try and find a way to make them feel better and fix things. But everything ended up falling apart. Hawk and I don't talk anymore, and a lot of my thoughts and feelings in the situation are difficult to publicize because they're private and personal and wrapped up in that relationship. But ultimately, I wish I hadn't gotten involved. I shouldn't have messaged the person whose screen caps are going around, and whatever my feelings on Hawk were at the time, I shouldn't have tried to speak for them when I'm not them. It's hard when your friend's upset and people are upset at them and you want so badly to fix it. To make the people who are upset, who you think are rightfully upset, you want them to feel better. And you want your friend to feel better and you want to feel better. And sometimes you make a bad call and live to regret it. I'm sorry for this one. Notice how they keep calling the person a friend, even after they say that they disowned them. If you really feel that what they did was wrong, then don't call them a friend even after you said you don't agree with your past actions, which are shown in the Imgur link in the description. Draikinator, you are the most hypocritical creature I've ever met, and I've met Lily Orchard, so that says a lot. You went haywire apeshit and started a full-on witch hunt against Diana, but when a friend has drawn actual child porn, you just go off and say it was a past mistake and they have learned from it? Oh no, good sir. That's not something you'll be getting away with. I can assure you of that. Draikinator knew that this information was gonna be pretty important, so they tried to weasel their way out of this by talking to Buttons. But damn dude, are you even reading your own words? Come on. Anyway, I told one of your friends this yesterday, but your crusade is insane and bizarre. Like, you know I didn't actually accuse Diana of being a pedophile, right? I said a 19-year-old sent unwanted sexual messages to a younger teenager and I sent proof of that cause she did it. You may not have directly called her a literal pedophile, but anyone with 2 eyeballs and a few brain cells could have seen that it was heavily implied. And guess what? Right now our dear Andrew is calling her a literal pedophile. And she was preying on a minor and it was sexual. She sent him and multiple other sexual messages like that's what she did, and I sent screenshots proving that. They're joking. They're joking, right? I sent screenshots? Dude, have you been in Wonderland this whole time? That's literally why we were so pissed, cause you never showed us anything. we're speaking with Diana. I mean, cool, have fun. I'm happy y'all are willing to take her word and believe anything she says, but not like me or anyone else. It's almost like she took a step towards us and you blocked us all. I don't know. Who are we gonna believe? It's almost logical. Like, it's months later now, I don't have screenshots on hand, but I sent them to you before. Give me the full logs. What? How could I possibly have those? You said you showed us screenshots. Surely you can show them again if you have them. But like, she sent pin-ups of her persona in lingerie, and like, again, it's a Warrior Cat server, you gotta know there's kids there. Well, we have proof of that, yeah. And once again, she didn't know this was bad. That's something that doesn't happen or handled well in Russia. When confronted about, she felt bad about it. I mean, dude, I posted proof of all these stuff ages ago, but you're so insanely aggressive that I've not been excited to dig it back up for you. You never did send us anything. Why do you think we are so angry at you? Is it like a god complex thing? You can't bear to not be in control of something? You can't handle things happening that you aren't really relevant to? Pretty fucked of you. Yeah, nice projection there, buddy. I don't got no logs. Go ahead. Why should I care? Your word has very little value. Didn't you just say that you had logs but not willing to give them? You think you have all this power. You're nothing. You're no one, dude. There's no point to me giving you proof of pedophiles because you can't take pedophiles down. Because you don't have the power you've convinced yourself you do. I mean, there's plenty of cases to prove you wrong. Let's say Toon Critic, Victor Vortex, Dusky Novel that we all chased from the internet and from conventions. Power of evidence does a lot. Okay, so, sorry. Perhaps that last bit shouldn't have been in the video, but it was just too good to not add. That's why I put the timestamps in the description so you could skip over that. So, to put in a final word, because I'm hoping this will be the last thing I will ever bring up about this situation, because frankly, and I'm gonna use something a friend of me said, we are all caught up in a crossfire between fucking gigantic idiots. To Andrew, this could have all been solved if you didn't make such a drama about it and just grew a spine and told her she was making you uncomfortable. And you better have some public apology ready for this, buddy. After you made this kind of accusations, nah man, I'm not gonna let you off that easy. You can be sure of that. Running away with your tail between your legs ain't gonna do it. You need to learn a lesson that there are some accusations you just don't make without any sort of good evidence. Emphasis on the good. And even to this moment, even though you said you wanted this to be over, you keep continuing to make it worse and worse by compiling a Google Doc containing cropped screenshots. Never in that whole document do you ever show a whole conversation. And even making the point of I never called her a pedophile moot by literally summing up points as to what makes someone a pedophile. It's a fact that all of your friends are fucking idiot teenagers just like you, but goddamn, I fear for the coming generations if that's how the youth of today thinks. To Diana, yes, I am gonna address you because it only seems fair. I know you are from a foreign country, that you don't speak English very well, trust me, I know the struggles, and that your culture is pretty different from ours. But next time, let's think about your actions before you actually do them. That way there can be no misunderstanding or any repeats of this situation. Now, I've also seen the other situations and other screenshots. And while I don't see you being a malicious creeper who wants to get in young boys' or girls' pants, you're quite the idiot. If I would have been you, then I wouldn't have ran away when those accusations were made. While I can understand why you deleted all your accounts and logs, it does make you seem quite guilty, and I would be hypocritical if I wouldn't address that fact. Considering the other situations, I'm not gonna defend nor excuse them. They happened, you got called out on it, and you need to face the consequences. To Nate, you might think you're all high and mighty because you have 50k subscribers on YouTube, but you might want to come off that high horse and face reality. You're not getting away with all this drama that you made. You're not getting away with being a hypocritical bitch by defending your friends who are actually guilty. You're not getting away with lying. Block us all you want. I don't care, but be sure as hell that I will share this information as far and as wide as I can. You don't have any moral high ground to stand on anymore, dude. I can tell you that. So why don't you take that leak and spin on it. To the White Knights. Yes, I called out all the parties involved in this because they deserved to be called out. The victim, the accused, and the one who started this witch hunt in public. Because, I'm gonna repeat my message from last video, the moment you make something public, the public gets involved and they can ask questions. And in this case, there is no one that needs to be protected. They all need to face what they've done. Even Diana isn't 100% innocent, I'm fully aware of that. To my watchers, followers, subscribers, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, retweet, reblog this everywhere you can, that you know there are people willing to listen. This shit needs to be heard. This shit needs to be shared. If you do, I'm so mighty grateful for it. And I can't thank you enough. Whew. Aren't you glad I made those timestamps? I'm Spoken Mind. Thank you for watching.